I seek refuge in God, the Most High, all-knowing of us, the accursed Satan. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, and through him we seek help. May peace and blessings be upon Muhammad and his good and pure family. God is sovereign, God is with Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, and there is no relief. The research in the previous research concluded that the sequence in causalities is a continuous connection that cannot be other than or that it is not in harmony. After we have defined, we said, we are talking about the ascending series, and secondly, also in the causes and effects, this is not the case. And thirdly, the sequence in it is that a direction cannot be infinite, otherwise it is necessary that there is no existent as well. And the following is what they say, we will not find what exists if this sequence is non-existent. A finality or from a section, as we referred to in the previous example, which is that if a person stood at this door and said, no, no one can enter, it would be important, and considering that someone behind the condition says, no, there is no formation, it is not possible to enter unless someone enters before him. Does anyone enter this place and not leave? I mean, suppose this place is the abode of existence, and Zaid Omar Bakr, or the heavens, earth, and water are the existence. So say, no one has the right to enter the abode of this existence unless there is an existent before him who has entered, and we assumed that the chain is infinite and enters a limit. And it does not enter the impossible to enter. Why? Because except whatever degree it has reached you want to enter into the saying of God, you cannot be able to say unless it enters a limit before you, and we stop at a count, meaning the sequence does not rhyme or the sequence is infinite with the infinite. Yes, in what rhymes we can reach an extent that says, let us fill in yet. It is not possible to enter without a condition. You will be what? And this is the term for it in everything that has been done. Singles with the proof of arrangement in the words of the philosophers. This they term it as a proof. What do you see? The sixth explanation of the end of wisdom, volume 6, page 414. The sixth proof, Buran al-Tari al-Tab. This is the result of what was presented yesterday. The result of this proof is that the series of causes and effects are arranged in a higher order and an effect. We said, we are now talking about the cause and effect, meaning that the existence of each effect in this series is connected to its superiority. It is infinite and there is no cause at the head of the chain other than the cause of other things. This means that the set of chains cannot be realized until two slaves, because each one of them is radiant, and the conditional is non-existence when it is not conditioned. What is clear is small, and from here he says, and an example of that, this example is a kind of example from the sage Al-Sabzwari. There is a strange example of daughters leaning on each other until I acknowledge, by the name of God, that this lot of people are jinn and unfit. This is independent and standing for the independent, but if we explain it like this, then something needs to be done. Mulaha. What does Barak need? What do I need? This is what I need. So if we impose it as infinite, it can exist or it cannot exist, because all of the Anshanhi are reclining. He says that there are blocks that lean on one another, and some of them are on top of each other. It is the puzzle of a brick or two bodies. Likewise, Each one is reclining to take, so if there is a standing one who is standing, leaning on it, then he is not reclining. If there is not one, what is in the first place? What is his endowment? It means standing with someone else or by himself. There is no God. He is the one who is standing. By itself, the quantifier is linguistic, otherwise it would not be said that they are all takats. There is a takat, and there is no takat. And if one of them is raised, what comes after it is raised with frowns. The high and the dependent are arranged in the same way as a brother, your ears are liquidated. We cut, and so far, we cut this like 1/3 of a milliliter. From a point, we take out 2 lines that count to me as the proverb, calm, and raise 3, so we go out and turn in this direction, and we take out this. I am glad that the angle will not be pulling it from your private part, because there are 2 actions. From the opening, this form will go completely, so if after the opening, any degree of the angle will be straight, there will be an important change, because the extension has no end, whether it is possible or not possible. Indeed, it is possible to impose it. Question: can we impose a 3rd fiddle and the 3rd chord between the 2 lines or we cannot? Ha! The 3rd chord is possible or not possible. If the extension is infinite, then this 3rd knock is one thing. Finite if not infinite. Infinite why? Because this extension is with him. It is not ambivalent, so the 3rd line or the 3rd line connecting the 2 ambiguities is not, and it is ambivalent because between 2 encircling lines, it is a pure diaphragm. Infinite is what means confined and other things. Confined. It is from a single point. 2 lines can be drawn to form a right angle, or from the division of the acute angle in or from the division. We assume that these 2 infinite lines are infinite. If we connect the 2 lines with a line, that is a line. And you see, O God, the proverb will come to you. It is obvious that the chord to does not include the extension of the chord below it and its increase. In this case, it is necessary and the chord is also infinite because the extension of the 2 lines is not finite, because the chord between 2 sides is infinite. Infinite, this is also on the one hand, and on the other hand, that this string is confined between 2 lines, so it is finite, so the 3rd string is infinite and finite, and it is a combination between us. We contradict what we said, the first principle, so Qn, I said to Tafjida, so Qn, I said, and this sweeps away the abacus. ABH, the abacus is finite and infinite, he said, not finite, even though it is always confined between the first number and the number, my brother. How can you say God is finite? This is the creation between God, finite and uninterrupted. By God, we are in denial with the one who does not rhyme. He is in charge of this. This is not what rhymes. The verb does not rhyme, meaning by force. Indeed, the number is always infinite. It is a paradise. It is the verb that does not rhyme, even if it does not rhyme with force, then they are overturned by the number. In others, with the 3rd proof, I am satisfied with the number of 4 brahins. And, God willing, after the details, the one who expresses us will return it to its source, which is to bring down proofs and say proofs. On the book's appraisal page, Smanu Kamseen said that they indicated why it is not known as the Baron of Al-Wasti and Al-Taraf. If we empty the series that has 3 parts, I mean, paradise. That is to say, if we start from the bottom with an effect and not, let us impose the argument, no, then from the bottom there is an effect, and not, as a case for something else, so we can say that you will not talk about 3, from here it is limited, and from above it is also limited, the highest is the description. Then the third one is attached to it. What do you intend? What is attached? Who doubts that? This is in 3. Now, if we wanted to loop the chain, we would start talking and become serious, huh? Wow. 5. The equation changes and does not change. No, instead of what we have in the conjunction in 3, the li and the accusative of the unit, nan, ratha, jad, 2, if we assume the tafdil as well, if we assume 17 and 8, that is, adat, you are satisfied with the condition that the sham is finite, then the first of the lower ones has a causative and no, and the last of the higher has a cause and is not with an effect. That means you are the law of the junta, and the 2 extremes are shams, preserved and unpreserved, so if we empty that it is from the highest is a continuation of a chain, not to an end. You are any eternal link from the top that can limit the end that is a cause and does not account for an effect, or you cannot focus on what is known. Dear. The first of the bottom is a negative, and there is nothing else. Al-Wasta except Malul said. Come on top. If the chain is finite, then what do we achieve? God, and not if the non-isotropic chain is a link or a blade, then we are connected and the tepid is connected to them and has no end and it is erased because at the extreme, what is the linker? What is the connection between 2 parties? And what is the peculiarity of the linkage? That the donkey has 2 effects on its ears. Why then, if we assume that there is infinite, the middle of the calamity remains untidy and untidy, and for this I suggested that I decide in the mind of the isolate, that is, Rajan says, so if we assume that we chain the cause and effect have more than one link and link, so this chain has one of 2 cases. The first case is that we enumerate the episodes in it many times, but it is finite. The second case is to enumerate the episodes many times and not infinitely, and Al-Kali claims an infinite series. It is clear that in both cases we find that the rule of connection is equal, meaning that 2 formations are the truth of 2. The connection remains, what is it, 1 connection or a billion, meaning cause and cause. That is, the episodes entitled connection do not have a formative peculiarity, which is that they rise to the end of the confusion, 2 nominatives. Why? Because a connection. You make 2 additions whether the series is finite or infinite, but if it becomes infinite after and there is no middle, what is this? But in the first case, the finite chain, there is no problem in its continuity, because the first condition is the cause of the word, and it is independent and does not have the specificity of connection, so no one should be alarmed if the chain is finite. However, in the second case, which is that the chain is not finite, all its links except the first effect have the property of connection. The first effect from the bottom is an effect and does not ask us, but where do we put our hand and put it down has two ends and one end does not remove it because it is not finite, and it is clear that it is impossible to verify the will without two parties. Why? Because if it becomes a wasta without a nominative party, that is, what is a word, Elisa, a word, and a word, our wax is a bit, and this is the first principle that we made aware of, and the bite of my condolences. If a God here reveals to us the emptiness of a quantitative mind, a God here makes it clear to us that in order to make a statement that it is not possible for a chain to go on unless there is no need for there to be things, how do we say? Unless it is not an effect, otherwise something exists or nothing exists and it is found with us. Don't you forget its slumber, meaning its slumber is present and its proof is present. It is correct to ask about this question and you will not say it. The great design is good. When Hasse turns the question around and is calculated to be one of God's creations, the answer after this question is correct and correct because if this question continues for some time there is something or it does not exist and the commissioner said that he found it. I said, how many diamonds except here in this path that we have indicated? I mean, the way is to prove the existence of a cause, but it does not require the existence of a cause that creates it. It means independent or not independent, independent. What are the conditions? And non-existence. Why is it impossible for me to sequence from to which may be valid? He says to you, no, before everything, and your dependency. Sequence is not impossible. There is no place. So, you are able to prove to us the existence of two causes other than two independent causes and two unconditional causes without seeking help from the sequence. This is, as they say, something is full. This is a comment on the impossibility of filling. The clip is unbearable. He originally says not ask me for help in the introductions to your entire reasoning regarding the impossibility of sequence. Are we able to establish the cause that does not need the two causes to exist without inferring sequence or no day? So, the evidence is this is the first claim to delete for us the impossibility of sequence from a period of evidence that your argument we accept, I do not know, or I have reached the question so that it is the Arabization of the second way, how do I want to prove to me the existence of the cause, a religion that does not exist except that there is an existent, and there is no one except him, without heaven seeking help from the impossibility of sequence. Mad al-Wabhar. For him without seeking help from paradise due to the impossibility of sequence. What is his opinion? The answer is the second way. I think this is the dearest path to my father, please, but check it for the sake of honor and followers. There is no law in the nature of knowledge and of the region. That is, if we ask a question. What a question, what field of knowledge was it? Play fewer songs on this topic. If we ask the two questions. Mathematics, astronomy, theology, and philosophy, that is, with two questions. The question will be answered with two explanations. If the answer interrupts the question, the answer is material. Right. However, if the question does not stop, the question remains, regardless of whether we answered or did not answer. What's wrong with the condition? Eid al-Qaeda again. If you ask the question and an answer is given to the question. If the question is cut off, then this is the answer heaven. Done right. But if the soul does not repeat this question with us, it answered it did not answer. He just didn't answer. Your answer was wrong, because if the answer was correct, they would have been sad to think about it. Is this origin clear? Come with us, who created this? Are you saying it? Are you saying it? Are you saying it? Are you saying it? If the atmosphere is in you, why is this a mistake? Because this is a concern that we have found. It is independent and not independent. This is not independent. I say from his creation, you say from them, yes, it is independent. And the same question is answered. Where is everyone who disagrees? The believer is lost. I say on the book. He looked at the book. Bah. If you answered him, you did not answer, then this atmosphere is correct. For a mistake, it is wrong. Do not say that the atmosphere is correct if it is independent. If it is found to be independent, then there is no substitute for the existence of what? Otherwise, there is no existence of what other than the independent. Unless you forget the two reasons, what is the reason? Deliver the survey. Eid or distorted? Eid because I told you that I do not speak to put in the believer's opinion, I do not put in the followers' comments al-Zarl al-Azashudir. When you said, this book is a domestic, not independent, it needs what, to what is not independent, and if it is not independent, it is, on this, you are with me, so after you need that, when you say Aleph, his creation with his creation, it follows no, you are an answer, this is an answer, a plan, an answer to the answer, his correct jinn. And the correct answer with him is that if he is found to be non-independent, I will not say, clitoris of his leaf. There must be the existence of an independent jinn with a refugee need, and what you said, this is his creation, this is an answer, this is false, this is wrong. When does the question stop if it exists? That is why if you said, you are the non-independent who feeds his creation, the non-independent, the question would remain seated and not interrupted. So, there is no answer. See, there is no answer. Sequence. Do not push us. Answer me. So, if we postpone, the questioning about who created the non-independent will not cease until when the independent comes. This path and this path is lost. It does not need a sequence. So, perhaps, it nullifies the sequence. So, perhaps it is in the cause. The meaning of the sequence in the introductions to the path. No, this barren invalidates you. So we are in this second path or the second barren, not just to say that Nan needs the sequence. Rather, we say that what you impose on them of the false sequence is in the hands of the one who has that righteousness. The righteousness here is only one that does not need the sequence. Rather, it is what invalidates the sequence. I decide by the request that allows you, with the example of Arsi, who is financially poor, from him, what is the situation of the poor, meaning he does not have it. Suppose their palms are in his pockets. Suppose we call him what? Poor, call him poor, Fa, das Alna. You are a place. You have my brushes. It means independent and not independent. I am independent. You do not help. You have brushes. Poor person. I froze. Conditional. And it is not conditional, so if we find a count of 10 of their dirhams that he has brought this from him or he has found it, if someone gave it to them, he would say it is not possible because we have assumed that in and of itself he is poor, meaning needy, or rich, needy. So if we ask him, who are these people in need? What finds you Saul? So when he says that his answer is correct and that the answer is incorrect, his answer is incorrect. Why? Because no, he began to indicate to me too. People who are rich from other than him, for them to have a place. Otherwise, if he also comes across from other than him, he will not be fooled by the same question, so he does not answer me, and it is a theory of singing and jurisprudence, a navigator. I thought of Singing and Poverty and My Existence by Masladra, not Singing and Airy Poverty by Ibnson, but I decided it on the way, Another clear concern has become clear. This is the second proof or the second method, which is that even if we cannot establish the sequence before the evidence is established, we can establish the evidence without the need for the impossibility of the sequence. Rather, it has evidence. Not only does the principle relate to without two reasons, we invalidate what else. The flawed sequence with Darwat Hisar Azai, no, but I said in the previous research now that it is worthy of glory, which is that this evidence only gives us the reason, but we do not know whether it is material or not, in order to attribute that it is not material, and the world is alive, hearing, and seeing, we need two other signs. Look at Al-Farabi's fatwa. Turn to Al-Farabi's phrase. Look at my condolences page. On page. The proof says to prove the existence that has no cause. It requires further proof that this cause is separate from matter and that it is living, otherwise it is like God. With this same proof, what? We do not hesitate to install it. In other words, this proof says that there is an eternal cause, molded by nothingness and not molded by nothingness. I'm too tired to be mad and what? Not indebted. Father-in-law through our research. In other words, it means that the extremes of the other, not Buddhism, are committed to the existence of an eternal existence. They need no reason and do not need. If what the two swords say, we ask them, you have the right to ask them, because rational reasoning says that there is no need for the existence of two reasons. What do they not ask? It is a paradise closer. This second path is in Amsal Loch Lo Bim Jambi, it is not full of it. I drank water or a taste. I ate the taste and found it too salty. If I ask why this taste is like this, what should it be? They say because there is a lot of salt in it, more than necessary. I mean, the salinity is too much. I mean, the salinity of his grandmother is thick across the width. It is not as salty as your grandmother. I will ask that if we ask salt, why does the flesh become full? Something inside him says because he missed the urgent, no, he says, I exist, my existence is my formation. This is my composition. What? A composer who causes what I do not cause, we do not hesitate to ask, and whoever causes you says no, this question is a plan because I ask what is the reason if you are not resigned, but what about me? In my opinion, I do not need two reasons. For example, should I put this paper in the wrong place? The two signs of this paper in the face of a white universe reach this whiteness unless it is freed from any salvation from the color white, otherwise the number and white is a yellow paper about you, a paper that tells about you. If the whiteness is from itself, by the color that was added to me, then tell me this color is called no ovaries. Its name is Pierre Alziza. A question about the loss of this Pierre. That is all. Why is Entabir after the door? Do not forget me because it is the Pierre in it. I am not that it is me. When I come to Pierre, I am paradise. I am Pierre by it. Things in me are characterized by whiteness, otherwise I am characterized by whiteness. What about myself, about myself? You before you know a world that if Jehovah God had made it, he would have brought you out of your mother's wombs. You do not know anything, so pain must be known by yourself and knowledgeable by knowledge. Otherwise, if knowledge does not define you, then learn and learn. Will I discredit science itself? Assume he has the tongue of the speaker. It is you, Al-Shanasar, you know. Sinsret is a scientist. We say, I, Shansret, am knowledgeable, is I, knowledge, and I know this. Knowing says, I am knowledgeable about myself, to someone other than him. I am knowledgeable through others, but I am knowledgeable through myself. As for Zaid, he says, I am knowledgeable about myself, and I am knowledgeable about knowledge. The independent and non-independent Jawaf are like this, if there is non-independent, you do not change me from other than this. Independent, except another non-independent jinn. I am dysphoric. This is me. A sickness used is the occurrence of the rule of Proverbs in what is permissible and what is not permissible. One and this is not independent. Itmak. This is not independent. This is afflicted and not independent. I say from his creation and this is independent change. The rule of this and his bite is his number. He is the one who is the one, and his altercation with the answer is closed because I am the one who is independent of it. His grandfather has no answer except from him. His grandfather is one of the independents. The projected one from his ujda indicates another projected from his ujda. The projected which is with the two conditions. An example of a door: if you find someone inside, the certainty of this inside. Conditioned and absolute. Absolute because it was conditioned, it enters and penetrates. So if you find existence conditioned, if you see existence as being contingent, if you see existence as needy, if you see existence as non-independent, because there is no existence without conditional existence, not without the existence of an existent that is variable, i.e. needy. No, without the existence of an independent existent, we need the sequence. If we do not need, we do not need to care about it. We also say that the sequence in the successive world is possible. Some are abstained. It is clear, it is clear, it is clear, I am asking, and I will come, God willing, so I will be seeking to live for 20 minutes. Mulan al-Azi, you are carrying a genie that has now entered the field. The third way. What is the third way? We, because he mentioned his star, have two ways. The first way, we prove the reason that does not mean the independent reason, with the help of me seeking the impossibility of the sequence. The second way. Nuth Bade is the resigned reason without the need for the impossibility of the sequence. The second method is followed by Anan Azai, and, God willing, his research will come after the disruptions, with great regret, meaning after 5 to 20 days, Shar Mulan, the disruptions of Maulana, and I say to the dear ones, Rahat of the disruptions, Maulana, you will be like me. Lady, why are you obstructing me? Why are you obstructing me, O my incapacity? What should we spend on me? There is no good reasoning in the previous path. We accept that the first path is a sequence with no end, and we accept that the sequence is not impossible. That is, in the third method, we say that we need a sequence to prove the madness of the principle, and that the sequence is not impossible in the lesser method. What is the sequence of the impossible in the method? Third of you. However, we remain silent to you, saying something you want. The second way is that we say we do not need the impossibility of the chain. The third way we say we need the chaining, but you have the right to say that the chain is invalid. You say, however, there is no need to prove it. This means that even if we assume the chain of causes and effects to be chained to nothing but an end, then they are all quantitative creations, for they all need a period. Why, just let them explain it and explain it. They will explain it and explain it, God willing, in the dimension of disruption, which is it. Put your hand on each of the rings, they are defective. Is it not known to me that there is not a ring of this ring except that the most paradise will be approved of it? Why? Come on, start from the next, start from the beginning of the link. I mean, the first I assume we start, and I assume that from here we start, and it is a sequence. There is no God with an end, that is, whenever you put your hand on any link of this chain that is finite as it is God, the lemma below it is the genus of the effect of the lemma above it, and we arrive at God. If there is no effect or we do not reach because the thing that is undone is finite or infinite. God blesses it, whether it has an effect or does not bless it. Whatever it is that knocks on it, it is either the effect of a faka, as in the first link, or the effect and its cause, as in the smallest link. There is only an end, unless the antecedent is clear, and if the condition is like that, then all the links of the chain are infinite. Their cause is the effect, and the effect is the whole of it. So the one who worships the blood of the Creator you cannot assume in the result. This chain is not infinite. What is its ruling? The ruling of the whole chain. They are the whole of it. It is an individual of the chain. What is it? The entire effect of a chain means that if you have an assumed infinity, a table is a ring. If the whole table is a ring, its cause is united. I mean, the subsumed motherhood. Should I talk about the aggregated generality, meaning all the individuals, not an individual, then all the individuals? What is the effect? Come on, even beautiful, sorry. Is it whether this is infinity or paradise? Or not a meter? It does not matter for what reason. In other words, it means that it helped each individual do what the group did not do. I don't know whether it's clear or not. So the third way, even if we say that the chain of transmission to God is finite, is possible to achieve, this replaces this chain of infinity from the highest, and does not replace it. I assumed that it would be confirmed for me to make the Ana with my universe, that the Gensur of Milana, let us know that you are the universe, if we say this to you. The universe is finite or infinite, it does not fluctuate, and I lived in some, more information, and a finite Malam is replaced by force with a finite lamb. Indeed, this suffices it for the reason, but it does not suffice it for the cause. The answer: put your hand on every part. A part of this coup is an effect of Mamala. Why? Because it was not. Then I will create for you something like it. Leave it in the Insa. I am an effect of Mamala, and I was not in what I was. Where did you find them from my parents? His parents are one of his parents. Once we say in the first proof that the chain does not begin to stop at its Adam, Eve and Maraph, and it continues only with an end, but each one of them has an effect and not an effect, so this infinite sum is not the most complete of a ruling except the affected ruling. Why is it an effect? Because the rule of these proverbs is like this except infinite, then the rule of all of them together, so you need to put together what I know is clear and clear. Here comes the problems of Alfred Russell, and the problems come with his hand. The day they say this, they mix up the right of individuals with the right of the collective. It is not necessary, if the individuals are devoid of right, that the sum be combined with the same. That is, one of the most important problems with this. This means that unless he is able to nullify his jinn, it means that the way of the first is invalid for him, the way of the second. We would have forced him into a void paradise, the third path, if he is unable to do so, you want problems. Who? What's wrong with him saying this? It is said that you transfer the rule of individuals to those for the group, and this is their disgrace, and we seriously look at you in the process of fatwa. It becomes clear that the rule of individuals cannot apply to the rule of individuals over the group. You say to Sean, you say between him and God until he approached. Except a doubtful mind, whoever resists one, and God is the vomit of each one of us. You and I have a mother, or he does not have a mother to a mother, or not with the mother. There is for them about a mother. Are you able to say if all of humanity has a mother? Individuals of humanity, each one aligar ha. O.M. Fantmeyer, your field, Hako of individuals, conducted by science, says, so humanity needs a mother. It will happen. The atmosphere of humanity needs a mother. This is an exaggeration. You are in a state. A third way is what I said. If someone accepts the first method, then the issue. If someone accepts the second method, then the issue is, I will ask and come down. As the saying goes, we have arrived at the second method. The person is saved. He said, Ulan, you, in the first method. I told them that the infinite series is impossible. We say it is an ungrateful heaven. Secondly, I said them. We can dispense with the chain of conduct. To those who said that we should dispense with the chain of transmission, you can curse us. We mentioned the path to the third paradise. He said the third path contains a fallacy of flow that judges individuals overall. This is an answer, of course. This research has moved Western thought for centuries. Mullen these forms because the West is a place where girls in research are foolish young minorities. They will not problem me to follow. How is the false chain of conduct? How is it like this? How is it like this? No, they did not go in this direction, but they wanted to invalidate this saying, which is that why should not everyone judge the individuals, which is one of the most important researches of contemporary linguistics as well, which is that if the individuals are judged by all of them, two individuals are judged by yours. Is it possible to do this for you on the whole or not? I mean in a phrase, or let your body become good. For a reason, can you, and we assume that it is infinite? Can you say, then, that all the world are accidents? First, you can. Now, we are in philosophy in the same way. We say, this is an accident, this is an accident, and this is an accident. If the world and its accidents, and the accidents, need an effector to say, no, we are fallacious. Here is your fallacy. Whoever said that the judgment of individuals applies to what is on the aggregate, then even if the individuals are an accident and the components have this aggregate as an accident, this does not cause you any doubt that the group is also an accident. They say it needs to be updated, otherwise I will cause this problem. I answered it, aho, many, and it is one of the basic problems. God willing, what comes after it will be given, no, thank God, Lord of the world.